Is Don Lemon a Republican? Because he's going out of his way to show that a majority of black voters support Donald Trump instead of Kamala Harris.
How are you feeling about the election?
I'm going for Trump. I feel like every time they don't want somebody who is good for us to win, they throw somebody black in our face thinking that's going to like make us vote for the black person.
I voted for Obama because he was black. I don't want to vote for her because she's the first black woman to run for president or to win.
I don't vote.
Well, I want Donald Trump. I'm sorry. I want Donald Trump.
Why do you apologize?
Well, I know nobody likes him, but we had good times with Donald Trump.
I'm running for Trump, so.
You are?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, why?
Yeah. I don't know. I just always been a fan of his, so that's what I'm running for.
I used to be against Trump. I used to live in Virginia. I saw the bad side of it, but really moving to Cleveland, but I saw the other side of it.
I'm supporting Trump.
You are. Because?
Because it has to change.
Yeah.
It has to change, and now I vote more for what fits me better as a person rather than voting for the black person or voting for the first woman. So
What do you think about Kamala Harris?
I think they say she phony and fake, you know what I'm saying? So, like, I'm like Trump saying, what are you, So I'm not feeling her. People get mad about it, I'm just not feeling her.
I don't like her the way she speaks, the giddiness, the laughing. Everything's a joke, and it's not a joke. We're in trouble.
I'm going for Trump. Kamala was on Biden's team, and I don't like Biden. Gas wasn't this high when Trump was our president. Food wasn't this high. I'm going for Trump.
And that's not the only footage of Lemon interviewing black voters on who they want as president. He's asking a lot of people about their outlook, and none of them are saying what he wants to hear. It even went so far as to him arguing with someone regarding financial status under the Harris-Biden administration. And guys, before we even get started, all I ask is that you take a second, hit the like button for the video. Thank you so much for sharing this video on social media. All right, let's go ahead and get started.
I saw Don Lemon is running around right now. He's doing man on the street interviews, but he's talking to people and he's asking them who you're supporting. He's getting a lot of people saying, Trump, I'm voting for Trump. A lot of black people.
Trump for the win. I support Trump.
And in one, he confronts the guy who says, I was better off financially under Trump. And he says, that's not true.
4 years ago, it was a lot better. I made a lot more money than I do now.
I know you feel that way, but that's not actually what the record shows. The economy is actually better under Biden.
That's not true.
Don Lemon,
no, you were happier.
He's like
when Trump wasn't president.
He's like fact check false. Fact check false.
okay, you know what?
No, that's not because I watched CNN.
I had high hopes for Don, but he learned nothing.
The giveaway was his interview with Elon Musk.
That doesn't mean a lot to a whole lot of people who aren't able to take advantage of the opportunities that you were able to take advantage of, simply because the color of your skin.
I was like, oh, so I guess he truly believes this nonsense. It was a total disaster. It was really embarrassing, actually.
Now, as a journalist, you're inclined to listen to the opinion of the people you interview. They don't owe you a thing, and yet they're taking their time out of their day to answer your questions. To go and say that somebody's lying about their finances just because it doesn't fit your narrative is downright weird. And they called him out too and asked about CNN because CNN is a firm supporter of the Biden-Harris administration. Another person who loves this administration is Jen Psaki. The former White House press secretary is left in shambles when Don Lemon tells her the truth regarding how people really feel about Kamala Harris. To make matters even worse, some of them weren't even aware of who Kamala Harris is.
You interviewed a lot of people.
I did.
What are some of the things or trends that surprised you about some of those conversations?
Well, I don't know if it was surprising, but it was certainly eye-opening to hear so many people, even people of color and women, saying that they are going to support Donald Trump. I'm not quite sure that the polls are accurate as it relates to the tightening of the polls and who's going to support whom. And right-wing media, when I released my content, they said, oh, Don Lemon was shocked or Don Lemon was surprised at the answers that he got. But there were a lot of black men, Jen, who said that they were supporting Donald Trump simply because he gave them a stimulus check. He gave them $1,200 back when he was president. They did not somehow remember that the current president also gave them a stimulus check, except that his name wasn't on it. So I had to remind them time after time that the check did not come from Donald Trump, that it came from a Democratic Congress, and he actually slowed it up in order to have his name on the check. So when they got the check and his name was on it, they automatically thought that it came directly from Donald Trump, which I think is good marketing. It's the same as he does for buildings around the country, especially in New York. He doesn't actually own them, but he puts his name on them, and it makes people think that he owns them, and it actually makes them think that he is richer and bigger and more benevolent than he is.
Was there anything, what did they think about Harris? Did they have anything to say about her?
They did have, listen, it depends on where you are. We went to a number of different battleground states in Pennsylvania, Ohio. We were in Michigan, Indiana, on our way, obviously, Illinois on our way to Chicago. And it sort of depended on where you were. Pennsylvania, well, I shouldn't say Pennsylvania, I should say Philadelphia, was a bit more liberal, and the answers to the questions about her and him were quite different. But for the most part, in Pittsburgh or at the Jersey Shore and in Atlantic City, in Ohio especially, many people did not know who she was. Right? They weren't familiar with her. So I think she has to reintroduce herself to the public. But for him, I think that they thought that he's better for the economy. And that, again, that he brought money into the community, and that he was on black people's side.
This just goes to show that her sudden rise in the polls and popularity, they're all fabricated. She isn't as popular as many of us are being lied to and led to believe. And what did Don Lemon say? She has to reintroduce herself to the public? She's been the vice president of the United States for almost 4 years now. Why should she have to reintroduce herself to the public? They don't know her because she hasn't done anything for Americans within the last 4 years. They know Trump because he actually did something for them that's memorable. To say that women and black voters should just automatically vote for Kamala Harris because of identity politics is just offensive. Also, I gotta comment on the stimulus check idea that he's pushing, because President Joe Biden did the exact same thing. He even illegally forgave student loans and then went ahead and passed on that burden on the taxpayers.
The president's attempt to cancel student loans is facing legal scrutiny. Leading the charge against the plan are Republican attorneys general from 11 states, with Kansas's top lawyer leading the effort. Chris Kobach is the Kansas Attorney General and joins us live. Mr. Attorney General, thanks for being with us here on the Hill. Appreciate it. So you led the fight, the legal fight, all the way up to the Supreme Court in round one. You planning to sue again here?
Yeah, we already have sued again. It was 6 states that went all the way to the Supreme Court in round one, and we prevailed in June of 2023, last summer. And now this is version 2.0 of the Biden student loan forgiveness plan, and it's equally illegal. Congress never authorized this. And of course, today he announced version 3.0, while we're challenging the second version, but all three are illegal. The Supreme Court clearly ruled that only Congress can do this, and there's nothing in federal statute that allows the president to do the first version. The second one is equally illegal, and we hope that the courts will enjoin this fairly quickly.
And if they're saying that Donald Trump shouldn't have had his name on these checks and that Democrats passed this money, then are they to blame for the red hot inflation as well? I mean, we're just still going off their own logic here, guys. Because if it's producing good PR, then it's something that the Democrats did. But if it's negative, then it's got to be Donald Trump's fault. They have to at least pick a side here. And Don Lemon is quoted in saying that Donald Trump is a racist, and that's why he's surprised that many African Americans are voting for him. But the reality is that voters are backing Donald Trump because they've seen what he can do. I guess that in and of itself is shocking for people like Don Lemon and Jen Psaki. Now, speaking of which, another liberal journalist who's under fire is Caitlin Collins. Now, I know it's kind of insane to think about, but Bill Maher put her on the spot on his show. And you gotta ask, are these liberal media outlets now suddenly realizing the difference between Donald Trump and Harris? Now, guys, I did a previous video where I covered this, and just to be clear, this should be on your next watch list because it's another eye-opener. Now, as always, guys, thanks so much for being here. Thank you for liking the video and sharing this video, and I'll see you on the next one.